Alright, welcome back. So right now we're going to look at just a basic lesson, very short video on how to use a protractor to measure and classify different angles. So if we bring in our first angle here and we use our protractor, we put our protractor essentially over the point or as close to it as possible. This is not going to be perfect, and then what we need to do is essentially just read off where the number indicates the angle. So we can see at the bottom we're on 0 degrees, and we're going to follow it up, and as we follow it up we can see it's going to go up to about here, and it says 50 degrees. Now obviously that's wrong, because 50 degrees would be between 90 degrees and between 0, so it would be somewhere over here we would have 50 degrees. But what we have on this protractor is two sets of numbers, and these two numbers basically tell us, well, you can use either one. If you're using a acute angle, then use the smaller number, and if you're measuring an obtuse angle, then use the larger number. So what we actually have here is the measurement for 130 degrees. So we can write 130 degrees. Alright, let's have a look at another one. Okay, so here's the next one. So we're going to bring it over our protractor. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but we're going to try our best to get a measurement. And what you want to try and do essentially is have the point where the angles meet at its vertex in the center of the protractor, while also aligned with the base of the angle. So you can see for this one we have essentially got a angle that lines up to be smaller than 180 degrees, so smaller than 90 degrees, and so it's going to follow it all the way up, and essentially we can use the outermost measurement, because it's an acute angle, to get that is basically 55 degrees. Alright, so we would write B 55 degrees, and because it's less than 90 but greater than 0, it's going to be acute. So it's an acute angle. Alright, here's our next one. So we can bring over our protractor, align it with the base, and try and line it up as much as possible with the center. And we can see that what we have here is a 90-degree angle or a right angle. Now a right angle will essentially make this perfectly straight and perpendicular angle with the base. So for C it's 90 degrees and it is a right angle. Alright, this is going to be our last one, so let's bring across our protractor and just measure it this angle. So it's not going to be perfect because the line is a little bit too thick, but we can get an idea of what this is going to be. If we look outside, the outside angle is indicating it's 30 degrees. We know that this is much greater than 90, so 90 is here. Because it's gone past 90, it's an obtuse angle, and for an obtuse angle we have to use for measuring from this particular spot, we're going to use the inside numbers, and it's going to be 150 degrees. So D 150 degrees, and it is obtuse. Okay, alright, that's it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.